Is it good? Oh, good. Lovely. Friday, Thursday.
Okay, I'll take your attention now, just for a little bit. I need to point out Buzz. This wonderful man, he's so wonderful to us. And I just want to thank you. It was wonderful service for us. Thank you very, very much. And we'll do it again next year here.
I just learned something about Kythera last week, actually. I didn't know that there was a famous icon in the Orthodox world that is from this island. The story was that there was a shepherd out in the woods one day, and all of a sudden he saw a vision of Panigyri kind of from far away, or he was being directed by her to go to this tree, and sure enough he follows the vision, and he finds in a tree an icon of, there it is, yeah. And it's probably the same exact replica of this one here. This is probably a replica of the exact same one, the way it was found. So there's an icon in the tree of Panigyri with Christ, and he finds the icon. It's in the middle of nowhere in a tree, and says, "Wow, this is beautiful. I should take it home." So he takes it home. Shows his family. Guess what happened? I saw Panigyri. She showed me, and look what I found. This icon. Wow, beautiful. They go to sleep. The next morning, the icon's nowhere to be found in the house, and he gets worried. He's like, "What on earth could have happened to this icon?" So he goes out. By the way, similar stories I've read have happened in Russia too, by the way. Same exact way of happening, scenario. He goes back to the same tree that he found the icon at last time and finds the icon there again. Takes it again, brings it back home. The next morning, again it's disappeared, and again it's back at the tree. This happened 2, 3, 4 times, and then finally he realized that it was a message from Panigyri saying she wanted the church to be built there. And so the church was built there, and it's still there, right? Still there? And there are miracle stories that have been attributed. I saw like 1 or 2 pictures there. And so there's, Panigyri Myrtidiotissa means Panigyri that was in the myrtle tree. And it's because of this beautiful story. So I thought that was really, really cool. You hear all these islands, Tinos, Zakynthos, Kefalonia, etc. And Kythera has its own miracle stories too. So thank you for sharing this beautiful story with us and bringing the icon today. And thank you for being who you are and knowing that these traditions go hand in hand with our faith, of course. God bless you. I'll hand it over to Kathy. I'm done. Okay.
We're going to do something this year a little different. We're going to send out a little survey. And I'm going to ask questions, we are going to ask questions as a board, to get your take of how you feel about certain things and what you'd like to see new or different or whatever. And we're going to try to get new members. One of the things that we're thinking about doing is to say, if you're a member, you know, your child, your grandchild, your child, can get a scholarship from us. That's our perk for our members. So I want you to think about that when you get the survey. Think about what you want to say, because we're going to be sending that out in a few months, and we're going to be very eager to see what your opinions are. Okay?
We collected $830 in memorial donations in memory of all of the people that we have listed above. So that's $830 in our pot, and we are good to go. Okay, so we'll go on to this. We had several people that we lost this year. One of them was Frances Alfier. Fran is the mother of my cousin Harry over here, and Mary Lind, and Richard's mother-in-law. And I'm going to skip to Emilio real quick. He was the uncle of Megan, and his wife was Evelyn Pablo, who used to be Simos. She came several years ago to the luncheon, and Emilio loved Kytherian just as much as Evelyn and everybody else. So.
My name is Elaine, and long before I was involved with the Kytherian Society, I was godchild of Teddy Carbonis. Teddy was not a native Kytherian, but she married one, my godfather John. And Teddy had no grandchildren nor any biological nieces and nephews, but she was thought of as a tia or yaya to nearly everyone she met. She was known to literally everyone in both the Ascension Greek Church and the Assumption Greek Church, and this was because she was continually attending events and serving the community. Every coffee hour, Greek food festival, Lake Merritt Greek Run, or Kytherian event had Teddy actively taking part in it, mostly bringing food or setting up a room or just attending or donating. Teddy was ever present and contributing. It was exactly the same for my godfather John, and thus they became members of both East Bay churches and wholeheartedly contributed to each. Teddy and John had been only children, and they had themselves an only child. But he was lost in young adulthood through an unfortunate accident. Their grief must have been immeasurable, yet they continued to serve others tirelessly, never missing a beat and always taking part. This behavior and dedication was something to behold and admire, along with Teddy's fantastic cooking and baking skills and enormous fashion sense. Teddy was always a lady and always traditional, but she was also quite liberal in her political views and constantly aware of current events. She never once owned a computer or logged on to the internet, but she more often than not knew of news stories before I did and followed Hollywood and current events as if she were reading the Twitter feed. May the memory of both Teddy and John Carbonas be eternal.
Okay, he was one of the people that was responsible for KytheriaFamily.net. James Perneus came up with the idea. He went to Angelo. Angelo put forth money so that we could start that wonderful website. He also started the Kytheria World Publishing Fund. He started publishing books on Hellenic and Kytherian themes, Life in Australia, the Kytherian surnames books, lots of things. And this is the Kytherian newsletter that comes out that many of you saw for free over there, but this was the issue that came out when he passed away, and there's several pages in here about Angelo. So if anybody cares to read anything about him, you can see that here.
Okay, I'd like to follow up with just, before I sing, I'd like to follow up with what Father said. He gave a miracle on Kythera, and here's something I got from a book on Kythera. In the 15th century, as was customary until recently, during the celebration of 24 September, every Kytherian would literally pack up and go to the monastery of Myrtidiotissa. The family of Theodore Kumbanios, for years has followed this tradition. Even when he was struck with paralysis after a serious illness, he was carried to the monastery every year. So it was that once again he was carried to the shrine of Myrtidiotissa. Upon arrival, they placed him in the church near the holy icon. During the service, one of the faithful who stepped outside the church heard voices and noise coming from the direction of the sea. He panicked and informed everyone that the pirates were coming to enslave them and to loot the monastery as they had done many times in the past. Everyone fled in fear, thinking of themselves and forgetting the paralyzed man in the church on his own. In his despair, the paralytic Theodore Kumbanios turned to God and asked for his mercy. As if awakening from a dream, he stood and started walking, crying out for his family who were hiding nearby. Word of this miracle quickly spread throughout the island and abroad. This and many other miracles listed in the special publications mentioned have helped make Myrtidia a revered religious center for many centuries. I thought you'd appreciate that. And now the hymn that is associated with the feast day that celebrates that miracle. This is, I should say it was in Greek, and then I did an English version. I thought maybe English would make a little more sense than the literary Greek, the Kytherian so-called Greek. And I have to give credit to Ted Bogdanos, who was one of our better musicians and composers in the United States, who died recently. And he contributed a big black book of all the hymns, practically all the Apologetica, the communion hymns and so forth of the church. And so I took the liberty of using one of his hymns in Greek. It was all in Greek. And I made slight additions to conform to the English translation. And here it is. Peoples, now let us come forth and clap our hands in faith, and let us sing songs to the Mother of God, earnestly crying out, hail the protection of those entreating you, hail the salvation of those honoring you earnestly, hail you reward them, the paralytic with healing.
We had the Mattis family who went to Kythera. We've got Cynthia here today, and you see her here with her son in front of Yaya and Papu's house, the Papu's house in Potamo and the Glenzos house in Kytherian, those wonderful homes. And then the daughter of John Vervanis, Shelley Ankerbols, also went, and here she is at Ayamoni, and the iconostasi that you see up here was carved by her great-great-great-grandfather, Ioannis Panigyri, in 1844. So that was exciting. And then here she is again in front of those same two houses, in Kytherian and Potamo. And here they are in Kasali. And if you see Cynthia sitting by that church, and you see my little arrow there, that's where that church is. It's right on the top of that little hill near Kasali. Photographic exhibit. They're going to have dances. It's going to be a lot of fun. Things have kind of changed since we first heard about this program, because we were thinking that we were going to send an entire pallet to Kythera, but as we found out more about this program, we really had too many supplies that would go to Kythera. We don't need as much. So we probably only need about a fifth of what we thought we needed, about a fifth of and so it's going to cost a lot less also, which means we really already have the money to do it. We just need to get through all the paperwork to have it done. So what happens is Ted is going to be contacting the hospital in Kythera to find out what supplies are needed, and then the director of the hospital needs to contact the minister of the hospital in Greece to get an okay to receive the goods so that they can be received, and then we will have the money to send. So this has been going on for a while, and we hope to get it finished, but that's where we are, the person today. And that is my grandfather. Who knew that he created a patent in 1911? My cousin Harry found this document in a file cabinet, and it says that, John G. Alfier and Manuel Meneas of Oakland, California, presented to the Commissioner of Patents a petition praying for the grant of letters patent for an alleged new and useful improvement in swimming appliances. Well, it was granted in 1911, and this is what it looked like. It says, will not only aid in sustaining the user near the surface of the water and prevent from sinking, but also afford propelling mechanism auxiliary to be afforded by usual moment of the limbs. Consists, broadly speaking. Anyway, it's got a harness and it's got these wings, and we thought, this is a riot, So we had to share this. And I've done a little research, and I've kind of figured out who these other people were. That the Meneas guy, one of the witnesses that signed was an Aroni, and I think he is the brother of the grandmother of Georgia Pine, who used to come to our luncheons. So that was a lot of fun.
So this is basically what I did on my summer vacation. So being the sane and rational family that we are, my husband, my sister, and her husband and I all decided to take a 84-mile track walk across the top of northern England. The first picture that you see here is kind of down in the meadows where we managed to step in just about every cow pie we could see, or couldn't see, and a lot of sheep dung as well, and a lot of mud. We walked 8 days. It was actually 100 miles because we went off the beaten path to get to the B&Bs where we spent our night. At one point, I actually slept in a dovecote. Does anyone know what a dovecote is? It's basically a chicken coop that they had converted into a B&B. So that was probably the more rugged but charming area that we stayed in. It was a little bit of a difficult up and down hill and slippery and rainy, and sometimes the rain was coming inside.
West. She had just done this Ironman, 70.3 miles, that's all. It was just a mile, 0.2 swimming, 56 bike, 13.1 run. And I asked her, can we recognize you at the luncheon? And she goes, yeah, sure. She goes, well, actually, a few years ago, I did double that distance. I said, oh my God. So she's going to come up and share a little bit. These are all, not all, a few of her swim caps from her
Actually, I did the Athens Marathon last year with my daughter. Yeah, she lives in Europe. Also did there was a half Ironman up in Canada, up in Whistler, which was about 8,000 feet of climbing on a bike, so it was pretty cool. So anyway, this is what I do. Don't have kids at home, and this is a great stress relief. So thank you.
And here are all the people that are listed for that. Okay, and here are all the past recipients. So since in 2008, we have given $14,500 in scholarships. So I think we really should give ourselves a round of applause for that. And Melissa's going to come up and talk about this year's scholarship award. The scholarship, as you know, was set up in honor of our beloved past president of blessed memory, Anastasia Konomas-Kondas. Our society believes that education embodies the spirit of all Kytherians, and this scholarship stands as a legacy to all members. This year is no exception, with the selection of the 2019 winners. And the secret is out. I think that they're on the middle of your tables. You'll see their write-ups. Our winners this year are Zoe Orth and Chase Scandalous. Yay! There's a little video that they sent. It's really cute. They're both in school right now. And each of them, before we start the video, won the maximum award of $1,500. And I always get the joy of calling these sweet people went to tell them and deliver them the news. And both of them were very, very excited, and they've already started school. Zoe is at the University of Santa Barbara. Chase. All right, let me pause a second. University of Santa Barbara. Thank you very much, thank you very much. And Chase is at University of Wisconsin. And so they both sent to us little video thank yous, and we're going to start first with Zoe.
Hi, I'm Zoe Orth, and I am so grateful to be one of this year's scholarship recipients. I wish that I could have been there in person, but I'm currently studying at UC Santa Barbara. This scholarship means so much to me because it allowed me a chance to talk with different members of my family and learn more about our history and what it means to be a part of this community. And I am so happy to have been able to grow up with a group of such amazing, supportive people. So thank you so much.
Our grandparents.
Hi everyone, my name is Chase Scandalius and I am a sophomore studying finance and real estate at the University of Wisconsin in Madison. I apologize for not being in attendance today, but I wanted to say how honored and humbled I am to be receiving the Kytherian Scholarship. and I'm even more excited to be able to receive it with my cousin Zoe. I've been fortunate enough to travel to Kythera 3 times, and each experience has been more rewarding and exciting than the last. This scholarship allowed me to examine my Kytherian roots and reflect on how incredibly blessed I am to come from such a rich background. Kythera is an incredible place, and I cannot wait to return. Thank you.
Already sent them long ago the money, so they got the good stuff. They got the cash. Cash is in hand. I've got the certificate. So who would like to come up to receive? Oh, our mom! Yay! Oh, congratulations. Hold on. We've got to do it right. No, so okay. So proud of her. And then Chase, who wants to come? Come on up here. Yay! This is for Chase. We print out little certificates. Richard. Stand in front of the picture? Okay. Vicky's always good at arranging us so we get the perfect shot. Congratulations. Thank you very much. I'm turning it back to you.
The honorary Kytherians are a lot of fun. You get to put up with this. You don't really have the DNA, so you get the best of both worlds. You kind of get to participate. You don't have the responsibility of the DNA, right? This year, our honorary Kytherian is Tom Panigyri, right here. For your loving support of our Kytherian Society of California, your enthusiasm in helping out where needed, your participation on the board, and most importantly, for wisely marrying our beloved Kytherian, Terry Lenzo. Thank you, Tom. We love you very